Good day, everybody. This is Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, Chronic Lyme, and Other Skin Parasites, which can ruin your life and make it totally miserable, as it has done for everyone that you're going to hear on this call. The subject that we're starting with today is about emotional support. I mean, emotional support was important, and if you read the update that I sent out, I had no idea. I viewed it firsthand from the animal kingdom with my pet chickens. But anyway, speaking on this subject today with her different resiliency interest is Margie, and Margie, she's a wonderful lady. In fact, if you thank us for having this support call once a week, I mean, it used to be Saturdays. I mean, it used to be Tuesdays or Wednesday afternoons, so it doesn't matter when it is. But we settled on Sundays. Margie's really the person to thank. She's the one who got it started. So she is a mind-body medical consultant focusing on the qualities of resiliency, and she's with us today to talk about the importance of emotional support. Welcome, Margie.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's so wonderful being here with you and Robin.
Thanks,
and Chris, three fantastic people. We're so lucky that you're on this planet and that you're helping people with this very challenging illness. And we're going to talk about, I'm a big advocate for the qualities of resiliency. And this illness is incredibly challenging, but a resilient standpoint in that is that challenges make us stronger. That's the resilient way of looking at it. That we come out successful from this, and we are the strongest people on the planet after going through this. So that is one of the side gifts from it. But we cannot, most people need psychosocial support. That's human beings. It's a human need. We are herd creatures. We need other people. So, and as one of the callers alluded to earlier, this illness is a prelude for isolation. And I was thinking that COVID really helped us because there's so many resources now available for support without leaving your door, and they've continued to occur. So we're going to talk about those at the end of resources. We want to get right to it. So the core of my program on resiliency that I bring here is developing spirituality and faith, and that's believing that you're larger than your ego. There's a greater whole that you're a part of, and that's all about connection. Most importantly, connecting with yourself, and then connecting with others. The way to develop it with yourself is prayer, meditation, journaling, creative expression, connecting with people that resonate with your spirit. So important to find a fellowship of other human beings who are going through what you're going through and also resonate with your spirit. Sorry, but you don't want to be around people that are going to pull you down. It is contagious. So find people who want to focus on the positive and focus on getting better. Stick with the winners, and you will win too. I wanted to tell a little brief story about what I experienced once in a group that I was in, and it was about moving forward in your life around people who might be undermining you. And it's if someone's insecure and they see you doing something different, and they see you doing something that's good for yourself, actually, but they undermine you, or they resent you, or they try to put roadblocks up in front of you, you need to learn how to recognize what to do in those situations. And if you are dependent upon them financially in this moment, then you need to be somewhat diplomatic. So I'm going to give you some tools that you might be able to use when you are interacting with people like that, because Richard has continually told me there are people who are suffering in those kinds of situations and they need some support. So yes, support. So back to the group that I was in, fantastic woman, very talented. She had one of the members in the group stand on a chair, and that person was way up high. And of course, when you have changed your position with someone and you're higher than you used to be, you're more vulnerable. You're sort of open for pot shots. And so she said to another member, come on over and see if you can pull that person off the chair. So the person was vulnerable. They were sitting on a chair, and the person easily pulled them off, And she said, okay, what can you, get back up on that chair. And she said, what can you do to help you from getting pulled off from the higher place you're on? And for us, that would be the higher place of following the protocol, being on your diet, being on fire about all the things you need to do to get better. And so you're in a higher place than you were before. So what do you need to stay in that place? Well, she said, this is this woman, her name is Linda Boynton, and she said, everyone in the group, come on over and just hold that person that's standing on the chair. And we all did that. And that one other person, she said, come on over and try to pull her off the chair. And with us holding on to that person, that other person could not pull that person down off the chair. And that is a wonderful example of social support. We need social support in order to stay strong. This is not a program for the soft of heart. You must have a warrior's heart to be successful and come out from this illness. And in order to continue to have the resiliency and the courage to do so, you must have support. So, I mean, we are so lucky to have this call and to have all these phone numbers in which you can call people. And if you suddenly hear someone that you are impressed by, that helps you feel alive, that you feel connected to, then get their number. That's someone that you resonate with. This is a spiritual connection. You want to be with people and surround yourself with people who help uplift you and keep you going forward. So yes, whatever you can do, and also I'm going to throw out a couple of tools you can use on the internet to stay connected outside of this network of connection as well. So the thing I wanted to talk about is being undermined by people who supposedly are supposed to be in your corner. And, you know, this usually comes off as just comments or questioning, you know, questioning what you're doing. Maybe even if they're abusive, mocking you or making fun of you or even belittling you in this suffering. I've heard stories of spouses belittling their partners or family members, belittling them and telling them they're delusional and they're crazy. So if that's something that you are dealing with right now, I have 3 words for you in regard to your response. Be kind. Be kind to the person who's not being kind to you. Be brief. Say what you need to say. Don't say it mean, and be gone. So I don't mean leave the situation, but just very calmly say what you need to do in a very calm voice, and then leave. Do not engage. Do not argue. Do not if they throw hooks at you and say, but this doesn't make sense, and do it. Just stay calm and just go and do what you need to do. There's a couple of key phrases you can use with family members that are undermining you when they do say something about you that's not true, or you know, they might be belittling you or making you feel as though you're less than or whatever, you can say to them, and this is a very disarming thing to say. They will not do what you do. What you want to say to them is, I guess that's the way you feel. I accept your faulty perception of me. Just say that. I accept your faulty perception of me. You have every right to think how you think. Do not engage. Give them the right to believe what they need to believe. And then just be gone. Be gone and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So I want you to continue to practice that. Staying in your center, having your support people around you. It's hard to do that with someone that you think loves you. Obviously, they're not acting in loving ways. So every loving relationship has arguments and spats and so forth. But usually you can close it and there's amends and you're loving toward each other again. But if you're living with someone who's narcissistic or maybe has an alcohol or drug problem and they have no capacity to love another person, you need to really be strategic about your communication. You need to disengage. They'll throw things, try to get you to come in and argue with them, or they'll have these logical reasons they want to, discuss why this doesn't make sense. You need to just continue to just put out the same messages in a very even tone, and that's how you reclaim your space. It's counterintuitive. You're not fighting. You're actually accepting the other person. And they don't honestly know what to do with that. Because if you're used to arguing with you and you don't take the bait anymore, and that puts a beautiful protective wall around you. And you just need to practice staying peaceful no matter what. And you need to go to your people and surround yourself with love from the people who can give it to you. And who knows, this might influence the family member, or it might not, but you can't be invested in that person's change in order for you to feel good. And that's the third thing I want to talk about. It's that false concept of something outside of ourselves makes us happy. When I get better, I will be happy. When that person changes, then I will be happy. When that person understands what I'm going through, then I'll be happy. If that's the framework that you're living by, you're heading for trouble no matter what, because you are putting your locus of control outside of yourself. That's conditional happiness. Even with, of course, we all want our families to love, support, and understand us. That is a very, very strong desire and common desire. But for us to say, this has to happen for me to be happy, is setting yourself up, even if you have the most wonderful partner, cannot rely on externals to make yourself happy. You need to build your own locus of control inside of yourself, and that comes through prayer, meditation, journaling, creative expression, and connection with people you love. So I'm going to recap this. Spirituality, or a true locus of control that has everything to do with connection of your soul and your heart with the greater good. It's the resonating energetically with, I know that sounds hokey, but when you meet someone on the phone here and you know, you just come to car, you know you resonate with the person, make sure you call that person. When you get off the phone with someone and you feel better and you're laughing and feeling good, you make sure you call that person again. You're resonating with the greater. That's spirituality. So you want to keep developing that every day you practice. And then the other thing is to connect with people that you love, which is what I just said actually. But then the next thing would be to build a protective wall around you from people who may be undermining you. And you don't do it by pushing back or arguing. You do it by agreeing with the fact that they can think whatever they want. This is their freedom. That is their sovereignty. They get to think whatever they want. And they actually get to say whatever they want. And you get to choose to do what you're going to do with it. No. You can just state, as I said, the key phrase, write it down. I accept your faulty perception. I accept your faulty perception. I guess that's how you feel. I guess I have to accept that. Very low tone, very solid, and then just gently walk away. Time, be brief, be gone. Be brief, be gone. Honestly, that is the best protection. They will not do what you do. So that's what I have to say. I promised Richard I'd be kind, be brief, and be gone, and I think I was.
Thank you, Margie. Thank you very much, Margie. I don't know if anybody left their 4 digits that they'd like to share or ask questions during this part of the program.
Richard, could I just leave my email for people if they want to connect with me?
Sure.
It's Canty, CANTY203 @gmail.com. And if you need support around any of these issues, that's happy.
Thank you, Margie. Okay. Robin, you have anything to add to this topic?
Yes. I think, Margie, it's wonderful what you shared, and I think it's so important for people to hear that it's okay to let people have their space where they think you're crazy or they disagree with you, but you don't have to engage with it. And that is so freeing and so important. And I just want to thank you for the beautiful way that you shared that. And, you know, I went through that when I first had Morgellons, and my family wanted me to see psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists, what do you call it? Bug doctors. and they just wouldn't take no for an answer. They wouldn't stop. They just would. I thought I stopped talking to everyone in my family for months. And then, you know, through Richard's emails, I found these articles by health organizations, like very prestigious ones, and I sent them the articles, and they started being a little more understanding, and I feel really blessed that that happened, but it doesn't always happen. And thank God that we have each other and this call, because otherwise we would be totally isolated. I'm an introverted extrovert, so I don't mind isolation, but I really value the relationships that I do have, and it was heartbreaking when I thought I was going to lose them all. So I'm very grateful. And just recently, as a coach, I went through this thing where someone thought I was trying to steal money from a family member. I'm a free coach, and they wouldn't stop texting me horrible things. And finally, they said, "I'm reporting you," and I had no clue who they were reporting me to. But what are they? Who are they? So I finally, it was just like Margie said. I just said, look, I'm a free coach. I don't take money. I don't sell products. If you don't stop, I will report you to your local police for harassment. So you need to stop. And I just left it, and they stopped. I was shocked. They actually stopped. But if I had gotten mad and engaged in the name calling and everything else, it would have just gone on and on and on. I was like, this is the line I'm drawing. Stop. And I'm done. And Yeah, and that's what basically Margie's saying, and it's so important for our peace of mind, because when we engage, we lose our peace, we lose our creativity, our cortisol levels go through the roof. I mean, you know, it's just like it's
just like being pecked on by chickens.
Exactly.
Yeah, God. I know, and you know, for some people, I've heard some people that were fortunate enough that they had their spouse who was a non-believer simply read my book. Well, that's good, but you know, I'm a lay person and I'm not a doctor, and people tend to want to believe the MD thing. They apparently know more than other people do. There's Dr. Saverly's book. So if you have a non-believer, you can buy a copy of that book from Amazon and let them read that book. Beyond that, it gets a little serious. I mean, Robin's got some papers that she can share with you that you can share with these people to get their support. But if it's like this chicken situation where they're just going to be pecking on you and using your vulnerabilities, well, at some point you need to realize you're not the chicken. You don't have to stay in that coop. And you may not have a way out right now. It may not be practical right now, but you want to put your direction, your goal, you want to head that way to get autonomous, get your own place, so that you can control your own environment, your own bathing, and your own diet. And believe me, there are many people who would not do that for fear of being lonely. But, you know, I can't imagine this poor chicken that died feeling lonely with the chickens pecking on it, you know. So the truth is, when you really know how to be alone, you can't be lonely. It's not possible. It's impossible to be lonely when you know how to truly be alone. So if anyone would like to share, or if you've given your 4 digits, or if you'd like to ask a question to Margie or any of us, please do so. You can open up the lines, Chris.
And Richard, while he's opening up the lines, I just wanted to say I loved your update today. It was poignant and to the point, and a great illustration. And if anyone hasn't read that update, I really encourage you. It's really important. You know, I felt like it was a really important one.
Yes, chickens have feelings too. I mean, you're talking about an animal, and they have emotional responses, which is phenomenal. It's amazing. It's too bad I learned too late and lost a chicken.
Right.
But so perhaps we can all learn from my chicken.
I have something to add.
Your name, please. Your first name?
My name's Dennis.
Dennis. Hi, Dennis.
Hi.
What part of the country are you from?
I'm in California.
Okay, welcome, California. What would you like to share or ask about emotional support?
Okay, I don't know if this fits in. I just got online on your call just a few minutes ago. I had something happen yesterday, and I thought of your show today, and I thought, well, this is perfect timing. I should add what I experienced with my doctor. I saw my doctor yesterday, and I've had this disease for many years now, and she was not supportive. I moved to Vermont for 2.5 years and moved back to California last December. And my doctor at the clinic that I attend retired, and she was replaced by someone. And this person you have a different connection with each person down here, and it's not good. And she basically thinks I have delusional parasitosis. I kid you not.
Yes, welcome.
And she's giving me. She says that they did the laboratory had a stool sample. I remembered after talking to her, and they did not find any parasites. I'm not making this up. Go figure that out. And now, you know, you can tell her. I told her about the creepy crawly sensations, and she thought it was a nervous thing going on inside my body. She gave me medicine called gabapentin that affects your nervous system. It helps a little bit, but she was in complete denial when I told her about the creepy crawlies. I kid you not.
Right.
Yeah, that's typical, unfortunately. Thank you for sharing.
Delusional parasitosis, and I said to her, wait a minute, that you're saying I'm crazy. Delusional is another way of saying you're nuts.
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
Kind way, yes, in a kind way. Yeah, and I doubt that there's anybody on this call who hasn't been diagnosed with delusions of parasitosis.
That's insane.
It is insane. It is insane. Rather than a doctor being honest and upfront saying, well, it looks like you're probably having some problem, but I haven't run across any of this in my training or know anything about how to test for it or even know what to do about it. But, you know, my expertise is limited. They don't tell you that. You're nuts, they say. You're crazy. You have
huge egos. They're lunatics. Yeah. They're in a position of power, and they're abusing it, and they're not aware of it. And I'm going to get another doctor. I mean, there's no way in the world. My question to you, Richard, is in relation to Morgellons. I'm not an expert, but how many people out there, is it normal for people to have stool samples taken in the lab to not pick up on the bugs?
Well, stool samples are basically a waste of time if you're looking for Morgellons. Stool samples are generally used for, pinworms, flatworms, roundworms, maybe tapeworms, I don't know, those kinds of internal parasites that are not really connected with Morgellons. But when you bring Morgellons into the picture, then every damn thing is connected to Morgellons and can be a real big problem. So there is a questionnaire. If you complete the questionnaire and send it in, I provide a complete protocol from A to Z to deal with, the bottom line is, will you raise your hand if you don't have internal parasites? Nobody will raise their hand because everybody, everyone has internal parasites. That's known. Right. Exactly which one it is, we don't know. It could be pinworm, roundworm, tapeworm, different varieties, all kinds. So the protocol goes through that. Typically, when you get into internal parasites, you go through detox. They use wormwood, they use black walnut, they use stuff like that, which unfortunately feeds some of our parasites. So we go the route of diatomaceous earth. We go the route of consuming our mouthwash, which is like consuming liquid carbon, is what it is. It's like consuming charcoal, and fenbenzidol. That's our basic approach to dealing with internal parasites. Now, when it comes to Morgellons, it's simple. Do you have filaments or fibers growing from your skin? If you have filaments or fibers growing from your skin or find cotton-like, lint-like substances in your bedding and clothing, it's a pretty good bet that you're dealing with Morgellons, because that's what defines the existence of Morgellons. And these filaments can be microscopic. Some people need a 60-power scope to see them. Others, they're big and long and move. They say they move and so forth. So filaments and fibers, that's the definition of Morgellons.
Okay, can I interrupt for a second? I don't have that symptom, but I've had creepy crawlies ever since I had
That's why you want to complete the questionnaire.
Get this. The symptoms started right after I had a hip resurfacing operation at UCSF. I pinpointed it in my mind. I'm going, when did this start? Well, and it was right after the operation.
The person who was there before you probably is infected with them, and even though they maybe have disinfected the unit, disinfection doesn't always get rid of these organisms. You could simply be dealing with columbella, which is springtails, which is snow fleas, so you may not have Morgellons. That's why it's important for you to complete the questionnaire. Robin would like to share?
Yes. I want to say a couple of things. First of all, I've had 3 doctors tell me that stool samples, even for internal intestinal parasites, are so inaccurate and so hard to get a clear reading. They are almost meaningless, okay?
Right.
Second of all, the drugs that they prescribe for delusional parasitosis very often work because they lower the dopamine levels which the parasites feed on. And so they can be helpful, and in Richard's book he lists 12 of them that work, that will actually help. And in the pre-call, Ethel talked about one of them. So there's that. The other thing is that if you're not sure if you have Morgellons, you can, Richard, can I go over this really quickly, the thing about the shower?
Sure, do that. Yeah, you can kind of diagnose yourself. The AMA and FDA tell you that they inform us that we are not here to diagnose, cure, mitigate, or treat any disease. And before you accept the recommendations of the diet or any of my detailed recommendations that you'll get if you complete the questionnaire, you're to discuss them with your doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems. But in the meantime, there are ways that you can kind of self-diagnose yourself. One of them is simply if you take a bath with nature's gift, and after 40 minutes you get out of the bathtub, you see a lot of debris around the bathtub. Boom! That's Morgellons, But there's another way too. Robin will go over it.
So what you can do is you could use the Nature's Gift debriding soap, or you could use any debriding soap. You take a shower, you rub the debriding soap all over your body, you wait like 5 minutes, rinse it off, do it again, but then air dry, and then take a lint roller and rub it on your skin, and look at the lint roller under a strong magnifying glass or loupe, and if you see little hairs and fibers, that's Morgellons, because sometimes you can't see them with the naked eye. And that's a great way to find out, because the debriding soap draws them out, and then they get stuck on the lint roller, and you can look at it under a magnifying glass.
I've got tons of stuff in my skin. I've diagnosed myself over the years, since I've had this a long time, and I do what works for me. I haven't cured the problem, but I've kept it under control. And basically, we have a dysfunctional medical system in America, and that's the scary part.
Right.
They don't have a clue. They're not good at this.
That's true, and unfortunately, that's the first place that we would get emotional support. That's the first place that the people you live with would want to listen to the medical doctor, what his explanation is, and when you go to the medical doctor with your spouse or your loved one and you get the delusions of parasitosis, well, then the person is with you. Oh, I'm living with a nutcase.
Right.
Is the assumption.
Oh, well, I'm single. This is one of the advantages of being single.
Yeah, true. True. You're not taking your mother with you.
I've got enough drama. I don't want to hurt somebody with my crazy karma, and it's like, at the same time, the truth is that karmically, there's a price for everything down here, and I'm hip to, my life's too crazy. I wouldn't share this with someone. I'm sharing it with you because, this is unique.
Right.
You understand. But, I mean, the hell what it's like to have this and to be deemed insane by the medical profession, basically.
Right. Okay, thank you very much for the share. I'm sure there's not a person on this call who doesn't relate to your experience. I certainly did, and Robin. Great. Margie, anything more?
Yeah, I do. I just want to really remind all of us about that locus of control. I was blessed with a physician who said to me, Margie, I believe you have what you have. But and this guy had, he had lots of degrees, an engineering degree. He had a advanced.
I've got one of them.
He had an advanced PhD.
I don't.
And he was a physician, and he was brilliant. And he was the CEO of a big medical organization before he just went back into practice. He was our doctor. He said to me, Margie, I believe you have what you think you have, but we in this country are not trained to help you. He admitted it. The smartest guy I know admitted that he couldn't help me. That was such a blessing. I was so lucky I had that experience. That being said, I'm going to go back to that locus of control, y'all. You cannot put it out there. You cannot say, oh, the doctors, they are mad, they suck, I'm so unhappy because they suck. That's losing your locus of control. No. You're going to say, I'm going to get through this. I have resources to get better. I don't need them. Thank you very much. I mean, I think it does not help anyone to focus on the opposition. I think it's the line that I spoke of today, which is, I accept your faulty perception of me. That's a great line to give to a doctor if he gives you one of those diagnoses. I accept your faulty, goodbye, I'm not going to get help here. I'm sure you can help 1,000 million other people that have other issues. You're not going to help me. That's okay. I got the information I need. I'm going on to get better. So folks, let's all keep our locus of control inside and not be depending on X, Y, and Z to make us happy, because it's just disempowering. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else want to open up the lines, Chris?
Hello, everybody. This is Kelly from Texas.
Hey, Kelly. How we doing?
We're doing real good. I've got a question, but I got to respond to all this conversation. One for the gentleman in California. I live not too far from Austin, and just recently the CDC, Center of Disease Control, did formally recognize Morgellons as a disease. So whatever doctor you're with, you need to tell them that their practice is behind the times and what they are is practice.
Kelly, do you have a press release or something that actually says that I can circulate? Can you email me that?
Yes, sir, I will. I'll go and find it for you, but I'm going to have to say it'll be I'll have to search for it. I didn't like to push save
that's
or
no
anything.
problem. I just like to basically direct people to a link where that is acknowledged. I'd like to see it myself too. That would be tremendous news for all of us, and we can build on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Then I will. And another thing, they say that the disease is non-contagious, and I believe it's you that thinks it might be, and to be careful, and maybe you don't want to go to a Morgellons convention. But
well, you've been reading my book, I guess. I would not go to a Morgellons convention. I mean, we had a gentleman on the show a month or so ago who claimed that. Well, we got into a thing between contagious and what's the other word? Infectious. Okay, yes. So it may be infectious, but it's not contagious. What the hell's the difference? If you pick it up from somebody else, it doesn't matter whether it's infectious or contagious. You got it. I don't care what word you use.
Right. And you're exactly right. And I want to encourage everybody about the book because I didn't get it the first time. You told me this, but you got to read it more than once to even comprehend it because there's so much overwhelming information that you read it the second time and you're like, yeah. For me it was. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I just really wanted to encourage the gentleman.
Which book are you talking? Oh, my book. Okay, thank you.
Your free book. Yeah, it took me reading it several times, and I have to go back quite often, and I focus on a topic. Like I couldn't figure out what columella was for the longest time, but I know what I have it. There's these little bitty clear dudes that are up on my forehead that I'm about gotten rid of through the debriding soap and actually Epsom salt. And actually, I changed my environment, which leads me to why I wanted to be able to speak to y'all. I've stayed in several different hotels, and I don't want to say there's some kind of weird conspiracy, but with all this, I've got me a magnifying glass, a portable microscope, and to look at all this stuff. I'll scratch my skin and I'll see columella in it, dead ones. I'll see the fibers, but I'll look at things. I'll go to these hotels, and there'll be a black lint of dust on your sheets, and I'll look at it, and it's not a black lint of dust. It's the red, blue, and white fibers of I'm thinking Morgellons. I don't know, but all I know is I want to say every hotel I've been in, I'll find this clear stuff with the fibers in it. It's a little clear. I don't want to say it's a living bug, but I've taken about 480 pictures that I have on what's called an iClops zoom scope that I've been saving, but nobody probably wants to see them. But anyway, has anyone else gone out and seen these fibers that are like around you that are the same as the Morgellons fibers, but they're not in you?
Yeah, people do share that they do find them You have something to share, Robin, there?
Yes. So when I first got Morgellons, I kept finding these things that I thought were bugs that I would take to a local entomologist, and he would put them in alcohol, and he'd say, these are not bugs, they're fibers. My house was filled with Morgellons fibers, and I had to disinfect the whole house. I mean, so yeah, they are in the environment. They're not just in your body and in your skin. They're in your stuff, they're in your clothes, they're in your car, they're in your environment.
Yeah,
and
many.
That's why it's like, Richard always says it's like driving a car with how many clutches?
4.
4. So, yeah, and it is contagious.
Yeah, unfortunately, many people, when they find out that they have Morgellons or something like that, and their house is contaminated, they do the worst thing possible. They run off to a hotel room. So they already are a walking, talking, breathing machine, and they just take it into a hotel room where they're going to spread it around and have the next person who comes into that room be susceptible to it. So it doesn't surprise me that you find them. The only good thing that we know is that, that Morgellons says it's not contagious. Well, not to everybody. That's the good news. We don't know. We don't know what the number is, whether 1 person out of 10 gets it or is susceptible to it, or 1 out of 100. We don't know. But if you happen to be that one and you're staying in an infected room, you're going to walk out, as many people have shared with me, contracting the disease from a hotel stay.
Can I add something?
Wow.
The safe thing to do if you do travel to hotels, the safe thing to do is take your own electrostatic sprayer with you, and as soon as you get in that hotel room, disinfect the whole damn room.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yes. You're somebody else like to share?
Yeah, I wanted to add something.
Your name? Your first name?
Oh, I'm Dennis. I was talking before. I'm the guy from California.
Yes, Dennis. Okay.
Okay, I like to bottom line things really quickly, and my sense is these are parasites, and the parasites are blood experts. This is why they like some people and they don't like others. And that's why some people get these diseases and other people don't. Bottom line for me is to understand your enemy. And I try to put myself in the shoes of these bugs. What I do, I play this by ear. This is what works for me. I buy Vicks vaporizers and add MMS solution to the vaporizer, and I put one on one side of me and the little small one that has mint pads on it on the other side, and I don't get any symptoms hardly at all when I do that. They're not the bugs that are in the environment don't jump on me. Are you following this?
Yes.
So I made that up on my own, but it works, and it's relatively cheap. And the doctor had no clue what MMS is, and I just felt like, okay, whatever. And I make my own solution. I add a little peroxide to the liquid after I mix it up, and the difference in how, whether I have creepy crawlies or not is radical.
Right.
They're in the environment. These bugs own the planet. I joked at a hospital once, and they totally agreed with me. I said, the bugs own the planet. They said, yeah, it's true.
Well, that is true. There are 6,000 species of Columbella, and we do need them. Otherwise, we would be dead by now. They consume the organic matter. Unfortunately, about 19 of those 6,000 species have developed an affinity for human flesh that the doctors and entomologists don't understand. The entomologist will tell you that they don't possess the mouth parts to bite you, but then if you really look into it and study Columbella, they have retractable mouth parts. So, yeah, they don't see the mouth parts, but they're there. They're just not eating when they look at them. Thank you, Dennis. Anyone else on the subject of support? Anybody else like to share on the subject of emotional support? Okay, that concludes this portion of the program.
Something else.
Yeah. Yes?
Due to COVID, there's so many more.
Could you speak up, Margie? I can barely hear you.
There's something going on with my speaker. I can't hear Robin very well either. So anyway, because of COVID, there's been a lot of access to social support in different ways that there wasn't before, which is wonderful. And one of the ones I was going to say would be good for people, if your partner has a chemical dependency, which changes people's personalities, and they'd be particularly toxic to be around for some people with that issue. The Al-Anon program is a wonderful program to help learn skills to take care of yourself in a less than supportive environment. And they have Zoom calls, they have phone calls every day around the clock, where there's lots of people there, and you know, I've used them to get support while I've had this illness. I don't have to, I explain practically nothing, you know, as far as this illness out in the world. I explain very little, and it's a great place to get support if you need it. The other one I wanted to make a plug for is Lisa A. Ramona, excuse me. She has a great YouTube video on codependency, and I got some of the material I used today from that. So it's Lisa A. Ramona. If you're having real difficulties with your spouse or your family, and you need to know, to learn ways, strategies to navigate around them, so you can have the bottom line, your needs met, check her videos out. That's it.